Here's something nobody talks about in marketing. Most people who use Google Analytics 4 have no idea what they are looking at. There is so much data, so many menus, so many reports, then people end up just checking organic sessions and call it a day. And then when it's time to build the monthly reports, they spend hours exporting CSVs, copy-pasting numbers into slides, formatting charts, and they are still not sure if they are showing the right stuff. Google Search Console gives you clicks and position. GA4s give you sessions and engagement. But most marketeers are not connecting the dots. They are not explaining why the traffic actually went up or which pages drive results. They are just throwing numbers on a slide and hoping the client doesn't ask too many questions. This Markifact workflow fixes both problems. It connects Search Console and GA4, pulls the right data, and runs AI analysis on top of it. And it fills a branded Google slide deck with the charts, the table, and the insights automatically. So here is what you'll learn in this video. First, I'll show you how the entire workflow works from start to finish. How the data flows from Search Console and GA4 into the report, how the data gets analyzed by AI and lands in your Google Slides. Then I will walk you through the full setup step by step, how to connect your accounts, link the template, and run your report by yourself. Finally, I will show you how you can customize the report, how you can add more slides, how you can add different checks, so you are not stuck with our fixed template, you can make it yours. Alright, let's get into it. Once you are inside Markifact, you just need to go to the template section and look for SEO, and you will find the monthly SEO performance slide. Let's click on it, use the template. It will duplicate the template in your own account. Then you just need to follow the setup guide. First, you need to duplicate the slide template. So Markifact created a template of reporting with all the slides, and this is what's going to be fully automated. So you can just make a copy of this one. I will show you later in the video how you can customize it 100% to make it your own. Once it's done, you just need to select the presentation and you are good to go. Next step, you need to duplicate the Google Sheet template. So why are we using a Google Sheet template? All the information that we pull from Search Console and from GA4 is sent to Google Sheet. This is where we can do all the graphs. So all those graphs that you see into the reporting are coming from Google Sheet. So that's very important to duplicate. This is the, let's call it the database of the report. So I'll just make a copy and I will connect my copy. Right there. Next step, I need to connect my Google Search Console account. I will use this one. And I need to connect my GA4 property. I will select the same one. And I can directly run the workflow. I don't need to do any other setup. Once I select everything, I can just run the workflow and it's going to run. So I will let it run for a second and walk you through everything. So the workflow finished running. It ran for roughly about 3 minutes to make all the slides and pull all the data and transform all the data. So imagine the time you would need to do that manually, and the automation just took under 4 minutes. So let me show you the results on the copy. So you can see that now the report is fully custom for my client. So it even changed the title on the slides. All the data that you see right there are coming from the automation. So this is coming from Search Console, this is coming from GA4. And also you have all the comments that you see right there are AI written. So this is not me that wrote those comments. They are not from the template. It's new comments based on my data. And you can cross-check the numbers. It matches what you see there in the table. So all of this is actually fully automated. So all the graphs you remember are coming from that Google Sheet. So this is how it works. This is how you make a reporting in a couple of minutes. So now let me explain in depth how it actually works. So you probably noticed inside Markifact, you have all those different lines. What are they actually doing? This is where the automation takes place. So it always starts, if we take, for example, the performance overview. So this one, to fill in this report, okay? So we have a couple of scorecards and we have some comments for Search Console and for GA4. In the automation, you can see that each line is a specific either slide or piece of content inside that slide. So let's take, for example, the Search Console. So we'll focus on this, the top part. First, the automation will pull the data from Search Console. So it will use the Search Console account you mentioned in the setup, the date range that you set up, and we'll take a bunch of metrics, clicks, position, impression, and everything is managed here through filters, okay? This is how we get the data from the platform and we send that to the rest of the automation. Just as a reminder, if you want to change the date range or the presentation or the account, you can change them from here. So by default is last month because we are doing a monthly report, but you can always change that if you want. Once we get the data from Search Console, in that case, we can directly update the numbers in Google Search Console, in a Google Slide, sorry. We don't have to do any modification. We just take the data from there and we push the data here into the different cards. Then we pass that data to an AI that will format the styling, because you probably noticed that we have the styling here, plus 50%, minus 43%. We need to send the data to an AI to be able to calculate the percentages between last month and the month before. So this is why this node is 4. When the percentages are calculated, it pushes the percentages back into the Google Slide, and then it sends the data of last month and the month before to another AI to make an analysis and write comments. So this is the one that writes the comments. You can see the little icon. This one is to calculate numbers, make a table, and this one is to generate comments. There is a bunch of AI nodes in Markifact. Once the comment is done, it's pushed directly into Google Slide. So this is what you see here. So you will ask me, how is that possible that we send comments and send data directly to Google Slide? It's through a very simple functionality in the Google product. So if you click any field in your reporting, right click, you can check the alternative text, okay? And you can define that alternative text. We will use that as a label, as a variable to tell the automation where to push the data. So for example, here we named that block of text. And if we go back to the automation in that specific node, we basically tell the automation to replace the text where in the GA4 block and replace it with the answer from the previous node. So we take the comments from there, we push it into the Google Slide to replace the text block named GA4. And to be even more secure, we can tell the automation on which slide is that specific block. You don't have to do it absolutely, but it's better to name the slide. So the automation don't change comments somewhere else if you are using the same alternative text. So this is how the automation is able to take data from the platform, transform it, and send that back to the automation and to your slide more specifically. So we talked about platform slides, but what about graphs? So let's go back into the template. You can see that here, for example, slide number 6, we have that chart with a session per day, organic session per day. How can we do that? In Markifact, you see that this time the daily organic session, the data is captured from Google Analytics, but it's not pushed directly into Google Slide. It needs transformation. It needs to be able to design the graph. So how do we do it? We push that data into our Google Sheet. So if we go back into the Google Sheet and we check daily organic traffic right there, you see that we have the data, so session per day, and that the graph is simply generated inside Google Sheet. Okay, so the chart is just right there. It's a simple line chart taking the sessions, okay? And then in the automation, it's written down the Google Sheet. Then the automation takes the chart that was created in the Google Sheet and push it back into the slide, add sheets chart, and then same stuff. Data is sent to the AI to make a comment, and the comment is changed into the slide. So it works the exact same way. So if I go back into the slide and if I click right there, right click alternative text, you see that the chart works the same way. It also has an alternative text, daily session chart. And if I go back into my Google Sheet, if I check my chart into Google Sheet, I can just click the 3 dots, alternative text, and you see that my alternative text for that chart match exactly the one in Google Slide. That's how the automation knows which graph to actually capture and where to put it in your Google Slide. So this is just using alternative text from Google product, as simple as that. So I just showed you how you could run the automation by itself. But maybe you would ask me, but I would like to modify some of the pages. I would like to change the design. I would like to add other sort of data. I will walk you through how you can do exactly that. In your template, you can change the style. It doesn't matter at all. So for example, if you want to use other fonts right there for this, you can definitely do it. It doesn't change anything. The automation just look for alternative text, as I mentioned. It doesn't care if your scorecard is blue with a big font or purple with a small font. It doesn't care at all. It's just important that you keep alternative text, but for the rest, you can change the design however you want. Let's say that you want to have different type of charts. As I mentioned, the charts are not managed inside the Google slide. You need to go into your Google Sheet to do so. So let's say that you want to customize this chart and not use a line, but use bars. You can do all the modifications that you want inside here directly. So I will, for example, use bars, and I will, for example, use other colors like red. When you will run that automation again, the style that you just changed will be updated into the slide. So I will just actually show you. So we modify the daily organic traffic. So this is the daily organic traffic analysis, and I want to change this chart. We just modified it into the Google Sheet, and you can see here I can just update it from there if I want, because the Google slide noticed that it changed into the Google Sheet, so I can just update it by clicking right there. I won't do it. I will do it into Artifact just to show you how this works. So here, let's go back into the daily session. All right, daily organic analysis. So what I will do, I will just run the automation from there. So you can run the automation from wherever you want. If you click run, it's going to run the entire automation. If you want to run just one slide, you can click on the 3 dots on the last node of that line and click run node. So it will run the entire line, okay? This time, for example, I don't want the AI to rewrite comments. I just want to update the chart. I will just start it from right there. So run node. It's going to get the report right into GA4, modify the chart, but the style will stay exactly the same. So the red bars, and then update the chart into my slide. So let's go back into the slides. There you go, it's changed. So you see, it's super simple, super efficient. You just do the design into Google Sheet, do whatever you want, and when you update it, it changes the styling into your Google slide. So it's very effective. Finally, let's say that you want to change the data that's pulled from the platform. Let's go to the bottom. For example, here we have organic landing pages. Let's say that you want to change that. You don't want organic, but you want to use other channel grouping or another source media. You can just click on the node and you will see here that you have a filter. You can use that filter to filter the data that you want, whatever it's Search Console or Google Analytics. For example, here we are using default channel grouping equals organic search, but you could use something else like paid social or whatever search. So you can modify all those nodes however you want to filter the data that you want in your slides. So there you go. You have the basic understanding on how this works, that you can modify the design, you can make it yours, you can change the font. It's just modified using alternative text from the platform to the automation, to the Google Sheet, to the slides. And just like that, we went from staring at 47 different menus in GA4, hoping to find the right number, to a complete branded SEO report that pulls the data, analyzes it with AI, and fills your slides automatically. No more exporting CSVs, no more rebuilding the same deck every month, and no more reports that are just numbers without context. Go to Artifact, copy the template, and stop wasting hours doing Google Analytics reports. Thank you guys for watching. I see you in the next one, and as I always say, happy automating everyone.